Hey there, so I realized that I'm having a really bad hair day. It's pretty bad. So I just threw it up in a ponytail and I was like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm wearing just a relaxed shirt. I mean, honestly, my chin's broken out. I'm kind of a mess right now, but you know what? That's okay. It doesn't matter. I'm still gonna make this video for you and hopefully you enjoy it. And today I'm basically just going to be talking about my experiences with car accidents. So yeah, I've been in 2 accidents so far, just side swipes, stuff like that. But I find these stories very interesting because in both instances, I was the loser because of circumstances which you will find out now. So my first accident actually happened on Easter. Now, Easter, my mom was making food and she asked me to go to our local store and was like, here, get me some, I think it was butter or something. And so I was like, cool. So me and my friend got in my car and went out and went to the store, got the butter, got in my car. And this is when the magic happens. So basically what happens next is that we get in my car and my friend, I asked her specifically, I remember asking her, can you look, because I had 2 big cars and I was driving a little Hyundai Elantra. So I have these 2 big cars on either side of me. So I'm like, okay, this is not good. I need to be able to see. So both me and my friend are looking out. I'm backing out at at the most 5 miles an hour. So I'm not going very fast at all. I'm backing out really slowly. We're both looking. And then all of a sudden, we just hear this bang. And then my car just jerks. So we're both really surprised because neither of us had seen anything. We were like, what just happened? So yeah, you guessed it, I hit a car. So my friend goes, what the heck? And I'm like, what just happened? I don't know what just happened. She goes, I think you just hit a car. And I was like, well, that's not what? I looked, I didn't see anybody. So of course I stopped my car right where it is, put it in park because, I wanted to preserve the scene type deal. And so my friend and I get out of the car and this guy, he is at least 2.5 car lengths away from my car. And he had swiped the back of my car. My bumper, he had swiped it going past. So it was okay, what the heck? So we get out and he goes, something, we were talking, he's like, you hit my car. And I was like, what? Okay. So he calls the police and I'm like, well, I was at this point I'm still confused because I don't know how it happened. It happened so fast. I was looking, my friend was looking too. For 2 people to have missed him, I have theories on this. But anyway, he calls the police come and they're like, well, because you were backing out, it's your fault. And I was like, what? How? I don't understand that because I was going really slow. I was looking. I had 2 large cars on either side. So I don't understand what you would have wanted me to do. He's like, well, I'm sorry. He's like, here's your insurance and everything and just make sure you change that. And so yeah, his car was hardly damaged. It had a bit of markings, but no, he was like, you ruined my truck. So he had to, and it wasn't even a truck. I hate, oh my God, pet peeve. I hate it when people call those little Ford Explorers trucks. They are not trucks, okay? They are not a truck. A truck is different, all right? Stop calling your little stupid car a truck. It is not a truck. Anyway, so they ended up replacing his entire back bumper and fixing his entire side when there was literally no damage. My car had so much more damage. My paint was scraped off. He had hit me obviously going very, very fast. So at this point I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So after this all happens, I remember thinking, okay, how did this happen? I sat in my car and I was crying while the police were there because they were blaming me and it was all my fault and I was just so confused. And I'm a very sensitive person, so I bawl. Anytime anything happens that's remotely scary, I just cry. And even when I'm angry, I cry. It's just this weird thing that I do. Anyway, so now that I look back on the scene, after this happened, I go home and I tell my mom, I'm like, what the heck? And she was like, what? So basically we all have agreed on this one theory. When I was backing out, he was going way too fast because the fact that he had to force a stop 2.5 car lengths away from me, he was obviously going way too fast to be able to stop. If he had been going a normal speed, he probably would not have hit me, or he could have at least had the reaction to honk and be like, hey, stop pulling out so I can finish going. No, he straight up was going way too fast, zoomed past my car, ended up swiping me, and then I got blamed for it because I was backing out. So that was horrible. I was so upset about that because my insurance went up. Everything was considered my fault because I was backing out. But for two people not to have seen his car and all of a sudden for us to feel this bump, it was like, obviously he was going too fast. He had a dog in the car, so how do we know that the dog was not distracting him? It could have been in his view, obstructing him from seeing that I was backing out. How do we know? So still, I got blamed. Not happy about that. And I'm still bitter because, like, if I could go back, I would have put up more of a fight, but like at that time I was very shy and I didn't want to start any confrontation, so that was that. So the next thing that happens is while I'm at college in Nebraska. So this is important where I went to college because of, apparently they have this, like, it's a no-fault state or something, and really, really stupid. So I come out of Walmart and I've got like supplies for my dorm and everything. I get in my car, I start driving. I call my mom. My phone is literally on the ground, not on the ground, but on my seat, and I have it on speaker, so of course I'm not really doing anything bad. I have both hands on the steering wheel. Of course I'm focusing on driving, and like I may have been conversing with her, like maybe that was like not good, but either way, I was talking with my mom on the phone. Both of my hands were on the steering wheel, and this was important because obviously I had full control of the car. It wasn't like I was just lazy driving and not paying attention. So I'm looking around and I'm just driving. I'm going like the 15 miles an hour speed limit in parking lots. At least it's 15 around where I live now, but the guy literally tried to blame me. He was like, well, the speed limit in here is like only like 5 miles an hour or something. And I'm like, okay, yeah. So I just was like, whatever, I thought it was 15. And so the guy was like, so what happened was I'm driving, and you know how like Walmart has the two lanes where one, like the one in front and the one that goes the other way, like in front of the store. That's where I was. So I had the right of way. I'm just driving along, and then out of the corner of my eye, I see a car come at me from my side, and he literally slammed into my car, caused my car to veer out a little bit so that my tail end goes in the other lane. And at this point, I was like freaking out. I remember I said I was on my phone with my mom, and I remember I was like, and like gasped really loudly. My mom was like, what, are you okay? And I'm like, somebody just hit me, you know? So she was on the phone while this happened, and I was like, all right, Mom, I'm gonna call you back. And I freak out every time I get into any kind of like issue like this. So of course I'm like, holy crap. So I sit in my car for a second and like realize what happened. So the guy gets out of his car, so I get out of mine. And I'm like, I don't know what just happened, but like, are you okay? Like, you know, like what do I say to you? And he's like, well, the speed limit, you were going too fast or something. And he made a comment, and I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? So my mom advises me to call the police. And that's what she advised me to do before we hung up. And I'm like, okay. So I called the police. The cop shows up and he's like, well, we're in no fault state, so I can't help either of you. And I was like, really? So this guy just ran into my car, and it was not my fault. I had the right of way, and I have to live with this damage now on my car because you're a no fault state. Are you kidding me? I was pissed. And like when I get angry, like I said, I cry. So I literally went back to my dorm, played some Pokemon, and just cried while just playing Pokemon like a freaking nerd. So, you know, playing Pokemon with tears in my eyes, that's always fun, right? But no, I remember specifically being so upset about this because it wasn't my fault at all, and yet still I was a loser in this situation. My car actually had more damage because his was just the front end. Like when I was driving past, his front end just had paint chips, and then it tore off his license plate, but all he had to do was pick up the license plate and he would just had to fix it. And he actually did at one point. He was like, well, I'll have my buddy fix that dent or something, like trying to get me not to call the police. But I was like, my mom told me to call the police. I personally would not really care that much because it's not like my car was brand new. I was still driving that little Elantra, so it wasn't a big deal to me. But at the same time, I was like, my car is damaged now. I don't know if I can have this door open, because he hit like the door. So the door out, it was like by the door entire. So it was like, how do I know whether or not my door is even going to open, you know? And I didn't want to test it because I was like, what if I can't get it to close again? And we just left the scene where it was, and then the police came, and no fault state. So yeah, I remember specifically too, when I looked out of the corner of my eye, I know for a fact he was looking down. So he was looking down at something, whether it was his phone or whatever, I don't know, I'm not gonna assume, but whatever it was, he wasn't paying attention. And I remember too, I was really freaked out because he had kids in the back of his car, and I was like, oh crap, are those kids like, what happens? Because I know my mom was in an accident where she ended up being responsible for like a kid if anything happened because she was in an accident, and I was like, oh crap, I really hope that doesn't happen to me. And at least because of that, I didn't have to worry about like taking care of those children in case something went wrong with them. But it was his fault. It just, they were like, no fault state. So, you know. Anyway, those are my sad car accidents, and I'm really sad about them, honestly, because they sucked. Like, I never got my car fixed. My car basically was a wreck. My sister is now driving that car, and it still has all of the damage on it because, like, I'm poor. My family's poor. Even though my parents both work, we still don't have a lot of money. And my dad's like, you know, whatever. Can't afford to fix it. Just leave it be. It's fine. So that's that. Well, this was kind of sad. Hopefully you still enjoyed it. And I realized this entire video, like, I've kind of been squinting, I think, because, like, the sun is pretty intense right now. Kinda? Well, the sun isn't intense, it's just like, for some reason my eyes are really sensitive to light. Anywho, hopefully you enjoyed this. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.